Our theme this month is power and choice. And my topic today is your dreams are waiting for you to come true. I remember hearing my mentor, Reverend Dr. Beckwith, say that years ago. And it hit me at some deep, visceral level because I knew it was true. We have a tendency sometimes to look out on the horizon and to see all that we think has not happened. And that gives us a convenient excuse not to show up fully. It's like, well, why give my all in this relationship? I'm not getting everything that I should be getting back. Why should I give my all in this job? This isn't my highest calling. Why should I really take care of this place that I'm living in? I'm just passing through. I don't intend to live here that long. I think you get the point. Why? We get this sort of, well, why should I show up fully? Because everything's not necessarily the way that I want it to be. But you know what? It's just the other way around. When you show up fully, then everything around you has more meaning. I remember it used to just amaze me that whenever I actually washed and polished my car, I swear it seemed to run better. Notice, put a little bit of attention in the place where you are, and suddenly it feels like the little place just got bigger, or suddenly it didn't seem so drabby anymore. What was missing? Not that something was missing in the external, something was missing in the internal. Bring your A game to everything. Just because. I developed that as a spiritual practice so that I don't show up any differently in the prison than I do in the White House. Respect everybody just as much. See the value just as much in everyone. But most especially not change who I am. Now, I know I'm only talking about me here. But there is this way in which I used to second guess how I needed to show up to fit in with other people's perceptions and perspectives. Okay. So there was kind of like a core me, but it would do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, trying to fit in. And more of my time could be spent trying to fit in than just being me. Self-conscious the whole time. Wondering what everybody's thinking about me. I know it's only been me. I know none of you could possibly have ever had that particular experience. But at some point, you have to let you be. To thine own self be true. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have a lot of different lives. You don't have a personal life and a political life and a social life and a spiritual life and all of the in a family life. You don't have a bunch of lives. You've got one. One. And you take you with you wherever you go. You have one. We don't get different sets of energy. We don't get one set of energy to follow our dreams and another set of energy to worry. We don't get one set of energy over here to be faithful and true and another set of energy over here to act out. One energy. And it is just a question of how you were using it when. It's not another one. I want you to catch that. So somehow or another, we think we can be at cross purposes. That I can use my energy over here and somehow muster up something else to do just the opposite over here. Doesn't work that way. There's only you. And you take you with you wherever you go. You are your biggest currency. You are your greatest asset. Most of us are looking for external things, for resources out there to give us value and worth. You are your value and worth. You are your value and worth. And I'm not just talking about the popular economic concept of human capital. Okay? The popular concept of human capital would say that your value and your worth are based upon all of these things that you bring with you. Your education, your work experience, all that. I am talking about your divinity. Your divinity is your greatest asset because in your divinity you are tapped into the wellspring of the allness. We are not fragmented. We are not separated. We're not apart from God. And God is not mad at us. You don't need something to save you from God. God doesn't want to hurt you. God doesn't want to punish you. God wants you to be you. God wants more places and spaces in the universe through which it can shine. God is not more glorified by our being shut down. God's not stripping us and taking things away from us just to try to make us suffer. We suffer. We suffer. But the only God that there ever is has made us out of its creators. It's created us out of its image and its likeness, and it is waiting for us to say yes. Nadine just knocked our socks off. Where was that music before she opened her mouth? Where was it? Where was it? It was just waiting there. It was just waiting there for somebody to say yes. Have you ever experienced that sweet moment of reconciliation with somebody? Where was all that love right before that moment? Where was it? It's right there. It was just looking for a yes. It was just looking for a yes. Everything is just looking for a yes. I'm not quite sure where in our current modern day theologies we have gotten this idea, like in order for God to use us, that we have to be somehow flawless or perfect. I don't know where we got that, particularly from Judeo-Christian traditions, because there was nobody in the Bible like that. Nobody. And all the drama that we have, the worst thing, somebody's a murderer. They're a murderer. All of them were murderers. That's why Moses got out of Dodge. That's why Moses left Egypt. Because he killed one of the Pharaoh's officers when he saw him whooping up on some Jews. He killed him and left. Not only did David kill Goliath, but David was lusting after one of his general's wives, Bathsheba. Sent her husband Uriah out to the front line, his general, and left him there. Cold, left the dude there. Now, you might say he was just, protecting his consort, because by then she was already pregnant, and not by her husband. I mean, I can go on up and down the line. There's nothing that says you've got to be perfect to be used by God. God just uses whoever shows up. It says in Scripture, I will make the rock cry out if I can't find somebody. I will make the jackass speak if nobody is going to show up. You don't have to be perfect. And I know sometimes I get tripped up in that because I'll hear these lofty spiritual things, and then I'll look at the people who are espousing it, and they don't seem to be living up to it. So rather than me hooking into the promise of what's said, I'm too busy looking into what I perceive as the flawed character of the messenger. So I allow the flawed character of the messenger to prevent me from hearing the message. Last week, we were at Reverend Eloise's 20-year anniversary celebration of being the senior minister at East Bay. And when she was truly testifying, she was explaining there was something that her mother used to tell her. She was saying how so often people would ask her things about the United States and our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution and all these lofty things about liberty and justice for all and everybody being created equal. And how could they really mean that when Thomas Jefferson, who wrote that, had 200 slaves himself? And I love what she said her mother said. The truth will be told even if it takes a liar to tell it. The truth will be told even if it takes a liar to tell it. So don't miss the truth just because a liar's telling it. Your dreams are waiting for you. You can't wait for permission. Nobody can give you permission to be you. You can't wait for validation. The only one who needs to validate you is you. The only one who can validate you is you. I remember learning this years ago when I was first coming out in junior high, high school, and I was talking to like my best friend, and she didn't really have any problems about the whole thing at all. But she was so concerned, I found out years later, she was so concerned because I seemed so concerned. Do you feel that? She was so concerned because I seemed so concerned. And then I realized that if I just am me, people will respond to you the way you respond to yourself. People respond to you the way you respond to yourself. Your dreams are waiting for you to come true. It means you're going to have to give up some excuses. It means you're going to have to do some reconciliation with your past. Too many of us are running from people, places, and things. Experiences we don't want to repeat. Family history or drama that we don't want to own or don't want to claim as ours. Certain bits and pieces of our heritage, our religious upbringing, whatever that is. But I am telling you what I know. Being true means being whole. The root of whole is integrated. You have to bring it all together. All of those places of guilt and shame or whatever that is, lay it on the altar. Allow it to be redeemed. Everything about you has a place in your own unique ministry. part of this coming true is this place of alignment. You know, I mentioned from time to time that our time-space continuum gets in our way. And we tend to think of the present, of now as just this present moment. Now is not just the present moment. We think that there is such a thing as past, present, and future. It really doesn't exist that way. If you hold a seed, for example, within that seed is its what we would consider its present state right now. But also encoded in that seed is the entire legacy of its past. Whatever that particular thing is bringing all of that into that quote-unquote present moment. It's not like it's present here now and it's cut itself off from all like kind in the past. It doesn't exist independently. It is there as a pure representation of a continuation of life, and also in that same seed is all that it will be. You can't put it in there. When you plant the seed, you're not making it something. You're just creating the atmosphere and the environment that allows that which is already in there to be that which it is destined to be. This is you. What we call now is not a time on a horizontal timeline. Our Western minds have us locked into a linear thinking that isn't true. Nothing is linear. Nothing is linear. Everything is circles and spirals and a constant motion, whether you're talking about the little bitty teeniest cell in your body or the big planetary systems. Everything is circular. It's moving around and it's circling around and replenishing itself. Nothing is stagnant. There is no straight line from here to there. Even what we think of as a timeline is a repetition. January, February, March, April, May. Boom. January, week 1, week 2, week 2, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It's like repetitions within repetitions within repetitions to create what we call linear. There's nothing linear about your life. You don't go from here to there. You kind of whoop around. Whoop. It's like roots of a tree. Don't just go straight down. They loop and they reconnect and they loop, and that's what gives the tree the strength. Yes? Looks like it's going that way, and it loops back around that way. You ever look at a tree? It branches out here, and that's what gives it the symmetry. So there are aspects of your life. I remember that when it's happening with my life. So I was heavy into an analytical thing. And God said, you got to go over here and have some heart. And after a while, that all balances out. Okay? But I had to come true. See, you have to come true. I am telling you what I know. This week alone has just been victory after victory. Last week, we celebrated the literal anniversary of this center opening. That's a testament to coming true. That's a testament to a yes, we can attitude of spiritual people coming together and saying, you know what? I'm tired of all this divisive stuff. You know what? I'm tired of 11 a.m. still being the most segregated hour in America. I am tired. of this group saying that they're right and this group thinking they're wrong, because there is goodness and there is God and the presence of God everywhere. And we want to stand someplace that acknowledges the unifying factor of God and not present God as some divisive, judgmental, egotistical maniac waiting to punish everybody for something somebody else did millions of years ago. No. That's not our God. That is not our God. Valerie Joy and I were just back at my parents' house a couple of days ago. I'm telling my business again. I am 54 years old. The last time I had a beloved in that house with me overnight, I was 14. And got busted that day, and it wasn't pretty since then. It ain't been pretty for 40 years like that. And for the first time, Valerie Joy and I stayed in my old bedroom. And you know what? It was so drama-free. The mutual caregiving, when Mom's had a stroke, all of us witnessing there together, having fellowship, Valerie Joy's playing the piano, and watching my mom light up. And actually started singing. Valerie Joy was doing some ballads, but see, my mom's Pentecostal. I said, pump it up. And the moment she started saying, I am blessed, to see my mom's mouth just kind of, try singing along. That was a dream years ago. But I had to be that dream. Do you feel that? Everybody else wasn't going to change around. Everybody ain't going to change around. You have to be. You have to be it. And there is nothing, I am telling you, there is nothing, not one thing that is holding anything against you permanently. We are not punished for our mistakes. We are punished by our mistakes. The mistakes themselves have consequences. Con with sequence. There is a sequence that goes with the action. That's what a consequence is. We get to determine how long we suffer. We get to determine how long we stay off of the mark. Linguistically speaking, the word sin means no more than missing the mark in your relationship to God. That is literally what the word sin means. Just missing the mark in our relationship to God. And whenever Jesus would heal somebody, not whenever, but quite often, he would go and tell them, go and sin no more. He wasn't just talking about actions and behaviors. He's saying you've gotten off in your relationship to God. You've gotten off in your relationship to God. Don't do that. Come back. Know who you are. If you want to maintain and retain this healing, you must come to a sense of a right relationship with God, and that is not just God's thumb or fingerprint. The right relationship with God is being a vehicle so that you can fulfill what Jesus said, that even greater things will you do. Jesus must be the divine example, not the exception. If you believe in anything about his life, it needs to be the call up, not for the excuse for us to stay where we are. I can stay here, do all what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. Jesus is up here, and then if I just believe he's good, that's going to carry me over. You come true. Whatever that is, you come true. If an idea has been put on your heart, don't worry. Don't worry if it scares you to death. If you have a dream that you can fulfill, you're dreaming too small. Dream a bigger dream. Your dream should scare you to death. Your dream should make you quiver, trying to figure out how you could ever fill those shoes. But you know what? You don't have to be the one to fulfill it. The very fact that it has been presented to you is the evidence itself that it's possible. The fact that it has been placed upon your heart is the evidence itself that it is possible, and that it comes with a covenant that whatever you need to be able to be the person, not do, to be the person that you need to be able to be a channel for something that great and grand and glorious. It's already there. It's already there. When Kwame sang during her prayer, I haven't been one of those singing preachers. But there's this little song, and if you know it, I'm going to close on this. It's a simple little song, and I'm not even sure who wrote it. I think it might be a Karen Drucker song, but don't quote me on that. How can anyone ever tell you? Who wrote that? Did anybody know? It is a Drucker song. It isn't? No? Okay, don't quote me. It doesn't matter right now. Whoever wrote it, hey, you got my props. How could anyone ever tell you they are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you that you're less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle, and how deeply you're connected to my soul? Yes, how deeply you're connected to my soul.